grid momentarily, and we'll get this 30-minute race here at Oschersleben underway. 30 minutes on the play clock. Drivers will be going right now. Green lights on the RaceRoom Race Experience banner. The drivers hit that green flag, lights out, and away we go here at Oschersleben. Great start by Willy Winchartan. Tachelli behind him, getting a good start, but not quite as good as his as the German in front of him. Turn 1, big choke point here for these drivers. Hopefully we'll get through cleanly. P3, oh, big wreck in the back of the field there. We're going to have to see what we can get in terms of replay, but we've seen Fuchi up to second, holding that inside line, and Werner through as well. Big wreck towards the back of the field, and that's affected David Fastnew. It's affected Schoenfelder, it's affected Lorna, and it has also affected Reek, and also, I believe, Domingo Camano. So big change towards the rear of your field. But up at the front, it's lightning action here as Winchartan holds that early lead with the tight, twisty midfield of this race circuit. Gianmarco Fuchi defending that quickly acquired P2. Tachelli down to third. Fabian?
Yeah, we've seen turn 1 is always a little bit too tight for all the drivers to come through, and we've seen Daniel Riek in his first appearance here in the series wrecking out, but he's on his way back. He already passed Domingo Camano, so let's see how much he can gain again. In the lead we have Willy Winchartan, and behind him all the drivers up to P16 are within a second of each other, so that's very close.
Incredibly close here at Oschersleben. But Fuchi's overtaking maneuver in turn 1 was brilliant, Fabian. He just managed to get that car up the inside of Tachelli to have the inside line there for turn number 2 and 3. And that was critical. Got straight past, nice early move, and hopefully can hold on to that one.
Yeah, Tachelli was focusing on Winchartan. He tried to make the pass, but Winchartan was selecting a very good line to defend himself, and Fuchi was the one who gained a position in that battle, and now he is in P2 and has to defend it against his Italian driver friend of Davide Tachelli.
He does indeed, although if Willy Winchartan does win this race ahead of Fuchi, neither of them have enough points to really hurt David Tachelli. But Tachelli will probably pass Keithley for second in the championship after this race, and we can keep that car in the top 5, so let's keep an eye on him throughout this race. But heading now through this midfield section of the course, very flowing but very twisty there, Fabian. These drivers really having to lean on that car, lean on the tyres, and hope they can find the grip there.
Yeah, fortunately for them we don't have tyre wear available here, so they can take everything they have in store for the race and put it on the tires every lap. So far, everything.
Oh, sorry, Fabian, but we have a pass for the lead going on. That's actually Fuchi making the pass on Willy Winchartan right underneath his rear wing, coming to the final corner, and he makes that pass cleanly before turn 1. Your new leader in this race will be Gianmarco Fuchi, who completes that through turn 1, and that BMW now heads to the lead.
Yes, and Davide Tachelli is trying to make the pass as well, so maybe Willy Winchartan lost his rhythm a little bit. Now he has to get his focus back.
He will indeed. Behind him, Willy Winchartan struggling to keep the charging Italian of Tachelli behind him. Tachelli pushing the car incredibly hard right now, desperate to try and make up that spot and keep himself within sight of the race leader. Should Winchartan be slowing him down, but behind them, Eric Werner is the first car that managed to drop back. He's 1.3 seconds behind Tachelli, although under attack right now from Klaus Schulze. So that's P4 and P5. Hopefully we'll be able to get a look at what's going on back there.
Yes, it's very close as well. Banki just lost a couple of spots, and now he's in a fight with Chris Wieser from Poland, who joined this championship last week. So very close competition everywhere on the racetrack.
Yes, absolutely. Some interesting movement by the drivers on the racetrack right now. So it seems a number of our competitors tonight have internet connection issues. That's why you're seeing cars jumping around on the stream a bit. It's not that they're disco dancing or invented a new sideways driving system. It's their own computers causing them problems here, which is one of those issues you'll often have with sim racing, Fabian. Your connection can be as big an enemy as your competitors.
Absolutely, but as we see with Alexander Dorneden, even your own car can be an opponent. So he's fighting pretty hard with his balance on the cars. Pretty difficult race for him, and he still has 25 minutes to go.
Yes, he does. A lifetime in a race, he's holding that lead. But these drivers fighting very hard right now to get something going. I should say closing in the back of Werner at this time for P number 4 on the racetrack. Can he make the pass on the German driver ahead of him? We'll have to find out. But also Benchy Banky in that fight as well as Chris Weiser. So looking pretty exciting. Cars started spread out throughout your midfield right now. Gaps from Klaus should say through to Benchy Banky, through Chris Weiser, dropping back from Ertan Kubatov. Although he's now being chased by Alexander Dorneden, so that could be an exciting fight we're looking at for the bottom end of your top 10.
It's difficult for everyone to stay focused. It's so close, and you have to watch your opponent ahead. You have to watch your mirror. So that's really intensive for the drivers here, and well, no one is really able to run away from his opponent. So we will have a very close battle for the whole race, and that will stress the drivers out today.
Certainly will, and this circuit here at Oschersleben has a multitude of different types of racing in it, Fabian. You've got the long straights for the DRS system these drivers have available to them in these DTM race cars. Of course, that system allows them to utilize the rear wing drag reduction system, which is a wing flap here in these cars, which deploys when they're when they choose to use it, when within 1 second of the car in front, and only once per lap. So with the run from the final corner to turn 1, turn 13 to turn 14 on the rear of this circuit, 2 opportunities really to deploy that DRS system to make a pass. You've got those sorts of opportunities, Fabian. You've also got the very tight, twisty sections from 6 through to 13 that really allows you to get side by side with the driver. So, multitude of different racing disciplines on the cards today.
Yes, very difficult for the drivers to go here perfectly all the way. We have very, very narrow turns. You really have to brake hard to make them, but we also have very long turns, which are difficult to pass at full speed. And of course, we have the straights, which are the best opportunities to get closer to your opponent and to prepare your pass. And yeah, of course, DRS is an important factor, especially since everyone seems to be within 1 second of his competitor. So you are never safe. Your competitor can always choose to attack via DRS, and that's putting even more pressure on the pilots today.
That's very true, and right now Gianmarco Fiducci is showing the pressure does not affect him as much as everybody else, putting in a 1 minute 18.737, which is a 10th and a half faster than his pole position qualifying time. So we could be looking at Fiducci really pushing this one today. Fabian, he's just running flawlessly right now.
That's the advantage of clean air, as you see. He has no car ahead of him, so he can really focus on his driving line. He got rid of Winchartan, so he can really focus on his own race, and that is really helping him, while Winchartan has to look in the mirror because Davide Tachelli still plans to make the pass on him.
Absolutely, and behind turn position number 4, we have a bit of a gap back to P5, where we have a huge train of cars from 5th through to 12th. Those are the drivers of Chris Weiser, all the way down to Thomas Kinzer in P12, who's recovered greatly from his early bad qualifying. But big gap there from those guys down to 13th on his own. That is the driver of Jager Time. Behind them, P15 onwards is another gaggle of cars. So this race really separating out somewhat as things progress.
Yeah, we also see that Daniel Rieck made up some spots as well, but now he is hunted by Denis Emelianenko, who's pretty far back today. Usually we see him some places ahead of his current position in P16, but he's working on Daniel Rieck, and Nick Barknecht would be his next victim after that.
Yes, he would indeed, but as things stand, Rieck's catching up to Barknecht, so that could be passing Barknecht sooner than he thinks. These drivers have a good battle here down towards the bottom end of your field, but up the front, things separating out quite drastically. Fiducci 2.5 seconds clear of Willie Winchartan, who is now within 0.3 of a second of Davide Tachelli. So hopefully we'll get a look on board there with the Italian master and see if he can make this pass. He looks to the inside in turn 1. There'll be some scraping of door panels. Will he make the pass secure? He will complete that pass. Davide Tachelli bumping doors there as he gets past Willie Winchartan, Fabian.
Yeah, he really wanted to make that pass, and he was sure that he can make it, and Willie Winchartan accepted his loss. So Willie Winchartan now in the draft and now able to, well, put revenge on Davide Tachelli. But let's see if the Italians aren't too fast today, because now we have 2 Italians leading the race, and Gianmarco Fiduci is proving that Italians are pretty fast here at Oschersleben.
The Italians doing very well today, it seems, and we have a double Italian front row right now, so that's certainly proving correct. The Germans are chasing them down. Winchartan and Werner there in P3 and 4. We also have Klaus Schulze in the top 10. We have Alexander Dorniden, Moritz Luna, and Thomas Kinzer in P12. So a lot of Germans in that top 10. Of course, this is the DTM series. You would expect that, but the Italians making a very good showing here. We've seen a lot of success from Italian drivers in this DTM virtual series. Looking back there, the French are starting to make a resurgence. Of course, we have Bastien Degrave, we have Jager Time, and also his teammate in this race, David Fasneau. So things are looking up. There's 1 French driver, now we have 3, so there's actually a lot more of them. Oh, big wreck, and that is involving Artem Kurbatov, the Russian driver. Let's see what's hopefully happened to him. Did you catch that, Fabian?
Yes, I saw it. Ben Shibanki was, well, trying to make the pass, but he turned around his opponents. He got through, but Artyom Kurbatov lost some time. He's now 3 seconds back of Thomas Kinzer, so he will have a lot of aggression in his stomach right now.
Certainly will. Hopefully find out if he can make up the time on that one. Certainly a big accident for this series, and he will try to recover if he can. Looking at positions on the racetrack right now, still pretty broad at the front. 3.6 seconds after Tachelli fought with Winchartan now. So that one has opened up, but nearly a second between himself and Winchartan. So trying to break that DRS range, or at least make the DRS system less effective. We do realise, Fabian, that you have to be within about half a second for that system to allow you to pass, whereas just within a second you can close up to your opponent.
Yes, and that only works in case you really drive through the turn before in a proper way, because if you miss the turn, you don't really hit your line, you won't be able to make it even if you use DRS.
Certainly not. Looking back for some battles we have going on. Klaus Schulze is right behind Alexander Dorniden for P number 6 now. The German chasing down fellow countrymen on the racetrack. Can he make a pass here? Those cars right next to each other, but behind Schulze he also has Lurner and Banki desperate to also get through there as well. So this is that big train we talked about in the midfield of the pack. They are pushing hard right now, and well, the guy in the bubble is Dorniden, 2.8 seconds back from Chris Weiser in 5th. He is the front locomotive in the train. Everybody wants a 10.
Yes, but he seems to be able to withstand the pressure from Klaus Schulze and all the other cars behind him. He's driving a very clean line, and that is helping him to stay in front. Even if he is slower, it seems to me that he is not able to go the speed that Klaus Schulze or Moritz Löhner were able to go, but he's able to keep his position. He's running a very clean line, so yeah, it's going to be very difficult for the drivers behind him to make the pass.
We talk about the clean air, of course, Fabian, and he really has that opportunity. He might not be the leader of the race, but with a 2.5 second gap to the car in front, the air is clean enough that he not only has good airflow over the car in terms of his downforce, but also he can brake where he wants, he can accelerate where he wants and take the line into the corner as he wishes, which a guy chasing somebody else pretty close behind, you do have to modulate your driving style to the other car, and it can often look as though, yes, you might be faster, but without being able to really push as hard as you want to. As we see Emelianenko there passing one of the French drivers into turn 1. Big move there from him, but it's very important to have that opportunity to brake in your chosen place. Otherwise, you are hampered by being behind another car.
Yes, it's not just a lack of downforce you have when you follow a car. It really is that you have to take care of another driver ahead of you. Where is he braking? Where is he turning in? So that disturbs you. Even if you're a very professional sim racing driver, it disturbs a little bit, and you want to get rid of the people ahead. You want to have clean air. You want to see your braking points. That's very important for the drivers, especially in such a series like the Virtual DTM Championship. We have very short races with only 30 minutes. We have no tire wear, so this is about running qualifying laps all the race, and clean air, that's what you want to have right now.
Certainly another 18.7 there from Gianmarco Fiduci, so he's really finding his groove here. 1 second faster than Davide Tachelli last time around, but looking at Ben Shibanki at the moment in P number 9, he's chasing after Moritz Lohner. Can he try and make something happen here and pull himself further into that top 10 position? Not the best qualifying from him, but this will be certainly a good one for him in the points, of course, Fabian. Ben Shibanki P7 right now. He could realistically catch up to, well, they'll both catch up to A. Costameni, but himself and Fiduci will definitely gain here. But Fiduci, if he wins this race, that's a huge amount of points. So in 25 points, that'll take him up to, right now, number 4.
Yes, he can really make this race to be good for him and his championship standing. That's what he's trying to do, and that is what he seems to be securing, because he still is 3 seconds ahead of Davide Toccacelli. And Davide Toccacelli is still fighting with Willy Winchartan. Willy Winchartan is within half a second, so Davide Toccacelli is not really able to get rid of him.
Big fight right now between Nick Barknecht and the car ahead of him, Denis Emelianenko. So we're going to have a look at what's happening there. Those guys scrapping hard here at the back of the field. 2 orange Audis chasing the blue and green one. So that's a factory battle if ever there was one, Fabian.
Yeah, very aggressive battle here, and well, it's the same situation as we have everywhere on the racetrack. Denis Emelianenko ahead of Nick Barknecht, who wants to make the pass, but he has to look in the mirror. David Fastenau is right behind him, and he tries to make the pass on the mistake of Nick Barknecht if he tries to make the pass. So very close, not as close as the fight for P2. Willy Winchartan now within 0.3 of a second.
Yes, he is, but that could be, well, an opportunity for a pass, but he's been around that close all race long. Now Schultz is going to make a move on his countryman Moritz Lohner right now, so we'll see what those guys are up to on the racetrack. Lohner pushing hard now, trying to make a position or defend his spot. Schultz within 0.2 of a second now of the German driver. Can he get a pass here on the main straight? He'll have his DRS. Will he use this into one? Big defensive line there by Moritz Lohner. Can he hold on to this one? No defensive, right to the inside here of the chicane. Really going to compromise his entry, Fabian. Bit of door bumping, but he'll hold on to that one just. And we'll actually let the driver eventually bank you through there because of the line that Schultz was forced to take.
Yeah, Schultz realized that there's a barrier right in turn 1, so that, well, made his plan not work. And Moritz Lohner really defended himself very well after losing the DRS range to Alexander Dornin, who was able to run away from Moritz Lohner for almost 2 seconds now. And yeah, that really makes life tough for Moritz Lohner, who was able to run DRS as well before.
Will, and looking on board now at the 13 car, and P13 and P14, that's Jager Time and Daniel Rieck. Those guys pushing hard now. Barely 0.3 of a second separating those cars on the track. They're under each other's wings. Are we about to see a pass for the new German driver on only the second race meeting, shall we say, sophomore there of Jager Time?
Of course, he will give it a try, but Jager Time showed that he's not easy to pass in the last race, and I guess he proves to be a good barrier on the racetrack as well this time. But we see that Klaus Schulze is well, building up a traffic jam behind him with Thomas Kinzer, Sebastian de Graaf and Artyom Kurobatov behind him.
The Russian driver of Artyom Kurobatov recovering well from his incident earlier on. Back up to P number 12, and Behind now, chasing the car, Sebastian De Grave and Thomas Kinzer. Will they all be able to get past Klaus Schulze? We'll find out. We have just under a third of the race remaining. 10 minutes on the play clock. We'll have to find out what happens over time, but up at the front, Davide Toccacelli catching up now slightly to your race leader, Gianmarco Fiduci. 2.8 seconds, back up to 3 now, so was closing in, but might not be soon enough, Fabian.
Well, I have the feeling that Gianmarco Fiduci is already in control of the race, so he knows how fast he has to run to make this work, but in the last few turns, Davide Toccacelli gained 0.8 of a second, so there must have been a little mistake by Fiduci, but he still has a luxury time ahead of Toccacelli, and now the timing is jumping again, so maybe there was no mistake.
We will have to find out, but the time's certainly not looking good for Davide Toccacelli. Of course, he cannot change the result of this championship. Tim Heinemann, the German star, has already taken the championship. He has so many race wins, so many points. This guy, Fabian, he's either won or not finished the race. As things stand, he's had one finish where he was number 10 in standings, and he had a 4th place finish, but everything else he's won, as Jaga teammate now passing the driver there of Daniel Rieck. Will he be able to complete that one there? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, he will try, but it seems to be pretty difficult around here to make the pass. The track is not very width, as we see, so it's almost impossible to drive next to each other, and that's difficult to make the pass here, where we have all the turns in the mid part of the track.
Yeah, those cars separating out as different drivers' cornering styles really comes into play, but can't really forget Denis Emelianenko behind those two drivers battling hard. He could make a bit of a Hakkinen of this one and slide up the inside whilst they're fighting if he gets the opportunity, but right now it's no, he's coming under attack. Jaga teammate coming under attack from Denis Emelianenko. Can he do anything to him now? We will soon see, but this is really helping Daniel Rieck to escape at the front.
And there's an attack by Benji Banki on Moritz Löhner, but Löhner again in turn 1, he's able to defend himself.
Big slide there from the Red Bull machine there, Jaga teammate. Big sideways moment on the racetrack, and that's really allowed. Oh no, we have Emelianenko scored past Jaga teammate here, but time suddenly dropped off. They both, they both spun, I believe.
Yes, but Jagatime was not able to get back in the driving direction, so he lost a lot of time and several spots, so he is only in P80 now.
He did, and Denis Emelianenko has managed to get his way past Daniel Rieck as well, so big moving there for the Castrol Edge machine. Great run through the field, but really down in the bottom end of the points here. Not a lot for them, other than bragging rights, as we're below P number 10. Drivers do not score points in this series. Going to be in the top 10 to score points, and well, the man that's going to pick up the most today is Gianmarco Fiduci up at the front. 3.5 second lead now over his countryman Davide Toccacelli, the man who will be, after this race, we believe, sitting second in the points. But I'm looking at my numbers right now, Fabian. 147 versus a no start from Jack Keithley, the Englishman. Davide Toccacelli will be in second by a large margin over the last running drivers we have at the moment, Willie Winchartan, with almost half of his points. I think we have a battle, Fabian.
Yes, there is a battle from P9 on. We see Klaus Schulze pretty close to Thomas Kinzer, but in his back we have Sebastian de Graaf and Artyom Korbatov, who are also willing to make it into the points for this race. Especially Artyom Korbatov, this is his first race, and I guess he really wants to get a point here today, because this is the premier DTM Virtual Championship, and it would be so great for him to score points here on his debut.
Absolutely, and Schulze is really the buffer man at the moment. He's sitting P10, so he's the final scoring position. P11 and P12, I suspect, will do anything to get past him. So Schulze's got to be desperate to get past Kinzer into P9 and maybe break that gap a little bit, make somebody else the victim of the last lap heroes. But De Graaf and Korbatov, they have to do something soon if they want to actually gain the points.
Yeah, we still have almost 6 minutes left, so that should still work for 4 to 5 laps. but those laps are done in a short period of time. So, but now we see Klaus Schulze very close to Thomas Kinzer, but he's not on the right line. So Thomas Kinzer was able to defend himself. So yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult to make this work in time. Artyom Korbatov and Sebastian de Graaf are running out of time to make it into the points.
They are, and Schulze is still trying his hardest to make something happen with Thomas Kinzer ahead of him. 0.3 of a second between those two drivers, double the gap between himself and De Graaf. De Graaf, although, coming under attack now from Artyom Korbatov, who wants to be the last man in the points himself. Up at the front, everybody spaced out everywhere. But Marco Fiducci leading by 3 seconds over Tachelli, a whole second ahead of Willy Winchartan, who himself is 4 seconds ahead of Werner, and he is 11 seconds clear of Chris Weiser. So front of this field really spreading out, Fabian. These drivers all finding their own particular groove, but it's looking very similar to qualifying, apart from Chris Weiser, who's had a brilliant run up to the field.
Yeah, the race had a little bit surprising development, to be honest. We've seen such a close race at Hockenheim last week, where no one was able to run away from their opponent, but this time we only have seen 4 guys being able to run very close in the qualifying. After P4 we had a big gap, and now in the race we see that the gaps are extending. So yeah, not really the closest racing we had, but a very interesting racing, because it's so difficult to pass here, as we see with Moritz Löhner, who's still defending himself against Ben Banki, who's been this close for the last 50 minutes, I guess.
Yes, and well, Fiducci's improved his race high lap time, which was faster than his pole position time. It was an 18.7. Well, he's gone 1 better, or should I say 3 better. He's down to an 18.433, which is by far and away the fastest time we've seen all race long from anybody on this racetrack, Fabian. Guy is flying.
Yeah, he never won a race this season, so he's gaining a lot of self-confidence this race. He really knows this is his chance to make the win, and he wants to secure this victory for him.
It's looking possible for the Italian driver, Gianmarco Fiducci. 2.5 seconds clear of his countryman, Davide Toccacelli, who will secure himself second in the points tonight if he could hold on here in P number 2 in this race. Willy Winchartan dropping back to about a second behind the Italian. Not really looking like a threat at the moment, but, well, the pole position driver, he's got to have something available here, Fabian. He might be holding something up his sleeve, but with no tyre wear activated, there's no reason for him to not be up behind Toccacelli immediately, unless he's willing for fatigue to be a factor in this race. With it being 30 minutes, I don't think we can really expect that. So, do you think Winchartan has what it takes to get up there?
No, I think if he has what it takes to make the pass, he would have done it earlier. Now he's almost a second back, so he has to fight to stay within DRS range, and well, I guess he is a little bit exhausted after hunting Davide Toccacelli for 28 minutes now.
Well, I'm sure he'll be sick of seeing the back of that car, especially after we got past him earlier on, but he's taken a pole position here, which is a big boost for his confidence. And throughout this field, we're doing lots of drivers definitely trying to make up positions right now. I should say holding on to that last position in the top 10. Going to see what he's up to. Still chasing Thomas Kinzer. 0.3 of a second between those two drivers. Will anything happen in the last 1 minute 40 seconds of this race? We're looking at just over 2 laps here, Fabian, so it's crunch time for these drivers.
Yes, but I guess Thomas Kinzer really proved that he was able to withstand the pressure by Klaus Schulze, who is now on the outside. So I guess that's not the premier line to make the pass, and he almost spun.
He did almost spin there behind Thomas Kinzer. Klaus Schulze making a very desperate move into turn 1. Perhaps a little too desperate for those Hankook tyres on his race car, but looking at Benche Banki right now, he's up ahead of Kinzer. Right up under the wing of Moritz Löhner. Can anything happen here for Banki? Will he make that position? This will be a race high of P7 for him if he can get past. 1/10 separating those two underneath the rear wing there of Löhner. Can Banki put this one in the bank? And that's a terrible plan.
Well, Banky will be able to draw the car of Moritz Lerner from memory later. He has been so close the entire race, but Moritz Lerner was able to withstand the pressure. But as we see, the later the race, the more desperate the drivers are. So let's see if Benze Banky will make, well, a Tim Heinemann move here at Oschersleben.
Absolutely, and well, I probably should have said, should Benke take this one to the bank? That would have been much better, but I digress. This isn't the Rachel Whiteford fun hour, but on the racetrack, still 0.2 of a second between Lerner and Banky. That's a very close fight. Can he find anything to get past him? Keep our cameras on that one, hopefully for now, whilst they're fighting this hard. As a bit of a slip there from Lerner. He'll get his wing underneath him, but he won't quite make that one. Bit of a slip there from Banky. Close fights as well between De Grave and Kurbetov. They cannot catch Schulze though. He's still battling with Kinzer. Behind them, we're going to have a quick look at Markus Schoenfelder, who is right underneath Nick Bartlett's car. Can he do anything here? Into the first sector of the circuit. No, they've separated out. Another bad turn one there from the Castrol Edge Audi of Schoenfelder. Can he get past Bartnecht? Bartnecht qualified last, of course, but holding on very well now from Schoenfelder.
Yes, and we see that Davide Tachelli just finished the race. No, Gianmarco Fiducci, that was the wrong Italian. So, Gianmarco Fiducci taking home the victory in front of Davide Tachelli and Willy Winchartan, who came in behind Davide Tachelli with 3 seconds. He
does indeed run through that grid quickly before he goes away. Gianmarco Fiducci from Davide Tachelli and Willy Winchartan on your podium. Eric Werner, Chris Weiser, Alex Dornaden, Moritz Lerner, Benze Banky and Thomas Kinzer. Now I should say rounding out your top 10 here in the race. Those positions have been confirmed now. Bastian De Grave in P number 11, Ayrton Kurbetov, P12, Denis Emelianenko, P13, Daniel Rieck in P14, Domingo Camano still finishing the race in P number 15, P16, Nick Barknecht, David Basnu in P17, Markus Schoenfelder P18, Johan Joslin P19, and Jakob Thieme, after that crash earlier on, will finish last in P20. Well, Fabian, it's been an incredibly exciting race here today. We've seen some awesome racing, and it's the track that's always given it to us. We've had some great races here. This has been definitely one of the best. Fiducci taking his first win in the season. Tachelli, he moves up to second in the points, so this is a big one for these guys. It's an absolutely great race.
Yeah, thankfully they were so nice to us to let us focus on some fights. Last week in Hockenheim we had to focus on the whole grid, but this time we could focus on some nice duels on the racetrack, and well, the drivers didn't disappoint us. We've seen amazing racing again, and I guess we can look forward to next week.
Absolutely, and honestly, this has been one of the best races I've seen from the series so far. Driving throughout the field, excellent. We saw some fair racing. We had a couple of incidents, of course, and a big one at the start. But I've got to say, though, the on-track racing was excellent. Sportsmanship was outstanding amongst these drivers. They all gave each other room. They all looked after each other, and they brought it home well. We had an awesome race. Of course, folks, don't forget that next week, round 14 will be at the Lausitzring, and that will be on the 9th. Of no, that's the wrong date. Dates look weird. That'll be next Monday, starting at the same time as tonight's race, of course, and you'll be able to catch practice at 6 o'clock GMT, 7 o'clock Central European time, qualifying at 7:40 Central European, with the race starting at 8. So join us next week for more DTM action here. Brought to you by RaceRoom Racing Experience. We've been LSR TV. I've been Rachel Whiteford. I've been joined by Fabian Clot and Laura Lawson in the booth. So thank you and good night.